All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Breakdown with Bonds. I'm your host, Coach Bonds, and I just got back from Cali because I went to go on an episode of Jubilee and we were talking about pro Ozempic versus anti Ozempic. So before I get into today, let me make sure I get the show notes pulled up. I want to make sure that I got my audio for the podcast rolling. We're doing something different. I want to make sure that I start getting these episodes out onto Spotify and iTunes. So I've got my audio recorder going. I'm going to see how audio sounds without me using any type of mics. Apple has been phenomenal with the phone and with the MacBook, but I'll let you guys give me your feedback. So, real quick, if you are unfamiliar with who I am, my name is Siobhan Patterson. AKA Coach Bonds. I'm the owner of Mind and Body Fitness, and my passion, my hope, and my purpose is to make holistic fitness options available for the everyday woman. And when I say holistic, I don't mean like, oh my gosh, we're going to go out and only eat fruits and vegetables and never eat any processed foods. No, when I say holistic, I mean the word holistic, like mind, body, soul, the person, the lifestyle changes, not just your fitness, not just your nutrition, and not even just your mindset. All of those things play a role in whether you're going to be successful on your fitness journey or not. And that's who I am. That's what I believe in. And I work primarily with women, but my goal is to take this more mainstream and kind of crush the toxic diet culture and crush the gym bro culture where like you got to be cool or you got to be lean, you got to be fit, like all these things that people feel like they have to be just to go into the gym. That is not my thing. In fact, I became a trainer because I had so many negative experiences with trainers and I was like, I really need to get in shape. I really need to make this work. And it took me 3 trainers to find someone that could relate to me and talk with me in a way that I understand. And if it was hard for me, and I'm pretty easygoing, I can only imagine what this experience must be like for the everyday person who walks into the gym and is met with fitness enthusiasts or is met with personal trainers who have never had to have their own fitness journey, who've never had to overcome obesity or have to do it while they've got kids and working full time and what have you. And so, as a client of a coach at the gym I worked at, when I had my fitness success story, I started studying nutrition, I started studying health coaching, and as a nursing school dropout, because I went to go do ministry, a whole other story. It all made sense. Everything I learned from pre-nursing school, everything I learned as studying health and nutrition, and then doing the fitness journey on my own, I committed to showing people that it's more than just workouts, that it's more than just eat this, not eat that, but it is a complete, total lifestyle change and mindset shift. So that's what I mean when I say holistic. I'm not trying to scare anybody off. We're not talking about raw milk. We're not talking about none of that stuff, but that's who I am and that's what I do. And so I made a video recently on TikTok and I was talking about my disappointment with Serena Williams for being an advocate for Ozempic. Not because I think Ozempic is bad, but because I believe that as a leader, whether you're a manager, whether you're a mother, whether you're a pastor, whether whatever it is, if you have people that look up to you, whether you're an influencer, if you are leading in any capacity, you do have a responsibility to make sure that you are leading in integrity and in a way that has the people that are following you has their best interest in mind. And so when I think of the people that are more likely to use Ozempic and be SOL when they're done, it's the people that I work with. It's the working class people. It is the everyday people who really do feel like they've tried everything and nothing works because for them, and I'm going to get into that when I get into like my show notes and what I want to talk about. But yeah, so my video about Serena was found. Somebody from Jubilee reached out to me. I looked at their TikTok page and it didn't seem very lively. So I was like, this just seems like a regular person. Not that regular people can't be casting agents. So then I went to her Instagram and saw like, oh shit, this girl lives in LA. Oh shit, she's got pictures on red carpets with friends and Jennifer Hudson show. Maybe this is real. So I hit them up. We did an interview and she seemed to like me. It went well. So I was like, all right, cool. And so we went and that happened this past weekend. And I want to talk to you guys about what I learned and share with you some of the insights that I've learned from doctors, other nutritionists, and people in this space about what they actually think about these people that they're prescribing these drugs to and what they actually think about these people. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so first thing, while I was on there, one of the things that the doctors kept saying is that people have tried everything. People have tried everything. And there are also 2 young ladies over there who had tried it. One of them was admittedly a influencer who did get commissions or had a discount code to promote weight loss supplements and or medications like Ozempic. So to me, that's already like a conflict of interest, kind of like Serena, but not really, because if you did something and it worked for you, yes, advocate it. However, I strongly believe that when you're having people advocate for certain medicines, that these people should have some like I agree with her experience and I will never negate that. However, I can have a good experience at, let's say, the church, which I had. However, as someone who is trained in theology and trained in clergy and knows how things should actually be happening, just because you had a great experience there, me, who knows how it should be ran, what they're doing wrong, what they're not telling you, this is not, I can look at it from a different perspective than you. And that's how I felt like having her there and then having everybody else there. This isn't singling her out. This is just my perspective on what she had to bring to the table because one, she's still very young. Um, I'm very young. And then two, just I don't even want to mess with her story too much because I don't have any like she took it, it worked for her. But what I was hearing from her was that she had tried certain things and it didn't work. And then there was a girl right beside her who said the same thing. I tried everything. However, as the conversation went on, we went to hear, and as I even spoke and gave my perspective as a trainer about what tried everything is, you could see their eyes opening up like, oh snap, I never knew that because we don't know what we don't know. So my first thing is that if you are thinking of trying Ozempic or you feel like you have tried everything, I need you to understand that you don't know what you don't know. And one of the first things that I brought up to their attention is that I hear people say that they've tried everything, and it's like, well, what is everything? Oh, well, I worked out. Well, did you follow a program? And then even when you get down to people following programs, I have clients that will pay me to write them a program only to not do the program, only to decide to like go do whatever it is that they want, like, oh, I don't like that day, so I'm not gonna do that day, or oh, I really like that day, so I'm only gonna do that day. And at this point, at some point, like, yes, movement is great. However, as I was explaining to them, your body will adapt to what you do. So if when you first start working out is hard. Like doing the treadmill for 5 minutes is hard, but then the next week, 10 minutes is easier. And then the next week you can do 15. That's progressive overload. And the same thing goes for when you're working out. Except a lot of people equate sweating and calories burned on their watch with them making progress. Oh, I worked out longer than last week. That works for cardio because that's what in cardio you want to be able to do things for a long time. That is the goal of cardio. Okay. When it comes to strength training, the goal is to build muscle, burn fat, and increase your metabolism. And the only way that you can build muscle, the only way that your muscles are going to respond to you wanting them to get bigger or stronger is if you do it in a progressive overload fashion, where each week you're building on a new skill and you're teaching this muscle to do more. Think of it like this, like math. You learn addition, you learn subtraction, you learn multiplication, you learn division, you learned algebra, and then what's after algebra? I dropped out in 10th grade. Still went to college, but like I don't know. Okay. After that, it's a blur for me because next for me it was college algebra and then stats and then calculus and whatever order you take your classes in. Point is, I would have never been able to do stats or college algebra had I not first done addition and subtraction. And too often, when people start working out, they equate progress with, again, calories burned and sweat. That's not progress. That's just action. It's kind of like busy work. Ah, there it is. A lot of people are doing busy work instead of like making progress. And so in their head, they think they've done everything. I use my sister as an example. She's got like maybe 5 to 20 pound weights at most in her garage. If she goes out in her garage and works out 5 days a week for 30 minutes or even an hour, and she's only using those weights without knowing how to properly program her workouts in her head, she will have tried everything. But me, as a program design specialist, personal trainer, like health coach, I'm going to look at her program and be like, first of all, you don't have a program. You're just in here sweating and doing whatever. No, your leg muscles aren't going to lose fat because you last week you did 10 reps with like a really heavy weight, and then the next week you came back and you did 5 reps with a lighter weight because you were tired and you don't remember what you did last week. So you aren't really, you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? You could even do that with nutrition. Oh, the amount of people that eat clean or eat healthy or just assume this is too much or this is too little and then be like, I tried everything. I'm like, well, how do you know? My favorite example to give to people is the butter situation. Like you could take a stick of butter that is literally 800 calories. Each tablespoon, there's 8 of them, is 100 calories. If I drop that into your pasta or your vegetables, you'll probably taste it. It's gonna taste so good. However, you see what I'm saying? Like if I were to put that extra 800 calories in there, you would eat it and you would never know. You see where I'm going with this? So for someone who says they tried everything, but they don't look at their labels or understand how much food they're ingesting in one sitting, you haven't tried everything. You've danced around, you've thought about it, but you didn't actually put that effort in to making sure that those things are in place. Which brings me to my next case, which is that you have to find someone that you can trust, that is reliable, and that will do these things. And most people don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know all of those intricacies that I did. It's kind of like us assuming other people's jobs is easy, or oh, all they have to do is this, or all they have to do is that. Well, yeah, being a personal trainer or an online coach may look easy to you, but you don't know what goes into what I do to help people get results, or what I did to help myself get results. And it's almost disrespectful to treat it like, oh, well, anybody could do it. If anybody could do it, we wouldn't have an obesity epidemic. So, for those of you that have say you tried everything, have you tried everything that you know, or have you tried everything that is out there? Because all of these different diets are not trying, like, they're just manipulating how many calories you eat and when. The only reason why any diet works is because it puts you in a deficit. So if you're serious about trying everything, reach out to a holistic nutritionist, trainer, or God, I feel like I'm one of the only people out there, and I know I'm not, but there's so many people out there who just do fitness or just do nutrition. Like, you have nutritionists that don't know how to tell you how to work out. You got trainers that don't know how to tell you how to eat. You have health coaches who are really good with habit and lifestyle changes, but don't know about fitness and don't know enough about nutrition. I'm the trifecta here. So if you're looking for someone who is trustworthy, who knows all of the ins and outs in those areas, got you. But anywho, let's go back to what else. Okay, so the tried everything. It really upset me when the doctor said that, because I'm looking at him. I was like, you know, damn good well these people haven't tried everything. You are a doctor, and I'm sure you told every client before you gave them Ozempic that they needed to walk more, they needed to eat more vegetables, and they did not. So now you're prescribing them Ozempic. Just say that. That's because I had to cut him off when he said that. I think he was a great guy. I think he had great intentions. But as someone who works with people, who's not in an office, but is actually in the gym with people, is on literally getting texts from a client who just signed up for me and has canceled her past 3 sessions out of 4, right? Like, people are not necessarily, like, they may have a lot on their plate. They may be overwhelmed, but I guarantee you the vast majority of people have not tried everything. And I mean that with love. I mean that as someone that has been there watching people. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Um, one of the things that the doctor said, he brought up, was how fast foods, and this is true, fast foods are adding additives to combat the effects of Ozempic. So let's break this down. Ozempic suppresses your appetite. And this is something I had to break down for everybody on the board, because again, there was a man on there who's buff, like buffer than me. So I thought he's a bodybuilder, but he's a nutritionist. So what I have learned is that there are a lot of people like myself who tried to do it the right way, who tried to teach people lifestyle changes, who tried to help people. And if you're really passionate about fitness and you're not giving up on it, you eventually get over, you give up and you start selling supplements, or you give up and you start giving people what they want. And even one of the gentlemen on the show admitted that when his client found out that her Ozempic medication was going to be canceled, that she gained weight back on purpose so that she could get back on Ozempic. When he said that, I just looked at him. I was like, you know, you all of y'all on the anti-Ozempic or the pro-Ozempic side, you just kind of canceled out your point of there's nothing else that these people can do, or this is the last resort. You literally just told us how people get dependent on these drugs. And this is my point. If Ozempic is an appetite suppressant and you are coming to a weight loss specialist with the intention of losing fat, one of the things that we need to do is increase your metabolism. The way that we increase your metabolism is, one, increasing your activity. Even right now, me sitting, most of my clients sit for 8 hours or more a day, and then they get in their cars and they're sitting for another 30 minutes to 2 hours in their commute home, and then they come home and they're sitting some more. Most Americans are too immobile. They need to move more. That is I would say, if there was an issue outside of overeating, it's sedentary lifestyles. Okay. But the second way that we increase your metabolism is by putting more muscle on your body than there is fat. Because as you build muscle, your body will naturally start to burn and lose fat. But you have to be building muscle, not just working out. And in order to build muscle, you have to have the energy to be able to work out. Right? Otherwise, you're gonna go in there tired. You're not gonna want to lift. You're not gonna do anything. You're never gonna get stronger if you're tired. And then after you work out, in order for your body to repair from the workout, the soreness, right? Think of protein and nutrition as the little filaments that go in and repair your muscles, because the pain that you feel are micro tears from the lifting, little tiny micro tears, and the nutrition goes in and fills it in and helps your body recover. When you're on Ozempic, you don't have an appetite, Because the reason why you took Ozempic was because you couldn't, according to the doctors, could not control your cravings. The cravings are just so hard, and fast food people are making food so good that you won't be able to resist, which I think is some BS. Because yes, fast food is good, but you can resist by not going there. The way that you don't go there is you buy food. And when you buy food, you cook it. And you cook it in a way that tastes good so that you actually want to eat it. All of this takes time, effort, intention, preparation, trial, error, and frustration. Most people don't want to experience that. So they go take the Ozempic to suppress their appetite, which I think is a great way to jumpstart it if you have an appetite issue. But I don't think that most people have an appetite issue from my experience. What they have is an awkward relationship with food. And this is another eye opener that I brought onto the thing where I talked about how if you were never taught how to regulate your emotions. Hold on, my dog's barking. Jasmine! Pause. I am totally keeping that on the podcast because I don't feel like going back to edit it. So, anywho, if you, for example, when we have kids, when you have a baby, you take them out into the store, and if they're crying, what do? You put a binky in their mouth. When they're at home, if they have a dirty diaper, if they're not gassy, what do? We give them a baba. And then as you grow up, when you're out in the store, your kid's crying, acting a fool, what do? You give them something to put in their mouth to pacify them. And so we have taught our children that when you are crying, you get food. And then we've also taught them when we're celebrating, we eat, we get drinks. And when we're sad, we hide and we eat. And so you notice the problem here is that people have found food to be the comfort for everything. Food is a solution. You're happy, you eat. You're angry, you eat. You're stressed, you eat. You lonely, you eat. When in reality, and this is where the health coach in me comes in, we have to find appropriate replacements for those feelings, not food. You can't eat your feelings. And that's what a lot of people are doing. So I don't think it's necessarily that people need to suppress their appetite. I think that portion control is important. And I also think that knowing what to eat that will actually keep you full, right? My main thing that I kept saying was education, education, because these people that are saying they eat and they're never full, it's because you don't have any fiber and any protein. I know a lot of young ladies who eat, oh, I snack all day and I'm never full. And oh, I don't want to eat meat. And I'm like, okay, well, you still need to find a source of protein. You can't just not eat meat because, or any protein because you don't like meat. Okay, but your body still needs protein. Like the fuck. Or well, I don't like to eat a lot of breads and a lot of pastas. Well, fine. Can you have some fiber so that that shit can hold you over? Little tweaks like this are will make a difference in people's lives drastically, but the process to get there takes so long. So again, I'm not fully anti-Ozempic. I do believe that it will help jumpstart some people's journeys, especially those who have an issue with overeating. But for those of you that simply haven't found like you have a relationship with food that is unbalanced, that is the issue. It's not that you can't lose weight, it's that food has become your go-to for everything that you do. You see what I'm saying? So let's see. So now that we've covered that, it's not that it's not working. It's not that you tried everything. There's a lot of lifestyle factors in place that these doctors simply don't prep you for before they put you on it because they don't know the lifestyle changes that need to take place because they have never been overweight and they have never had the traumatic lifestyle that you had. Think about it. These are doctors. These are people that either had the life that set them up so that they could go to med school and have no job for 7 to 10 years besides living in the hospital. This is people who had faith, who had good enough grades and a good enough background to get there. So, like your struggles as an everyday working American, some of these doctors will never fully be able to understand. And yet we go into their offices and we look to them to help us when they don't even really know what it's like to walk in our shoes. So when I say like I feel like a first responder, it's because I'm out here in these streets with people. They're texting me in the middle of the night when they're like, hey, I looked at the scale and I'm about to snap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's it's honorable work and someone has to do it. So let me see what else we got going on. Um, so what does it look like to actually have like long-term weight loss? And that's the question. Because my whole thing is this: you can get on the Ozempic and you will lose the weight and you will be skinny and you'll feel better than you've ever felt in your life. And then it will be at some point time for you to get off Ozempic. Or at some point, it's going to be time for I don't know, like you just, unless you want to live on it forever. And then those hunger cravings come back, as I mentioned. And since you've never learned how to deal with your hunger cravings and start preparing for food long before you're starving, right? s- again, it just takes a little bit of planning. You've been up, you woke up at 6, it is now 1 p.m. and you're starving. It's not that you're starving, you didn't eat breakfast. It's perfectly normal for you to have crazy cravings after not eating for almost 12 hours because you didn't eat since the night before. We move so fast that we don't even have time to think about why our body is responding the way it is. It's not that it's broken, it's that you're treating it like it's a secondhand afterthought and then coming in with a pill that's supposed to be a band-aid for the last 10, 20, 30, even 40 years of you treating your body like an afterthought. Eating has to happen every day. You don't have to eat 3 meals a day. You don't have to eat breakfast, but acting surprised that you're starving after not eating for 12 to 15 hours is, I want to say, irresponsible, but I don't want to make you feel bad. But I want you to think of it from that perspective. If you were on the outside looking in and you saw you behaving the way you would, you'd be like, girl, are you going to have any water anytime soon? Girl, all you've had today was coffee and Snickers. Of course you're hungry and you're going to eat everything in sight. Like, so this, my whole thing is this. Ozempic can work and it can help, but it is not going to solve the issue of you not learning how to feed yourself like an adult, or you not learning how to emotionally regulate. Like, these things don't go away on their own. They're going to come up and you're going to have to solve those problems, whether it's before, during, or after your Ozempic. And the story that I shared on there was that I had a client that hired me during the pandemic, and within a month or two she canceled because I was doing health coaching with her and online training. She didn't do her online workouts on her own, and she didn't really like the health coaching calls because I was digging deep and trying to help her find the root problem. She had PCOS, so she had no business eating the way that she was, drinking Starbucks on a regular and not changing her diet. As a result, she ended up canceling working with me, and went eventually to get a mommy makeover and or a tummy tuck, and then eventually be on Ozempic. Now that they're full circle and they shared their story with me, and we're learning, like, the things that I was trying to teach them in the beginning almost 5 years ago is what they are back at one learning now, having spent money on the tummy tuck and the Ozempic, and then just not learning these things. So if you're in a place in your life where you don't have the capacity to learn this stuff, I totally get it. But I need you to understand that before you get this drug, you will have to learn how to honor your hunger and your fullness. You will have to learn to be more active and that just be who the fuck you are, not just during your weight loss journey. You need to learn how to get up and take walks during the day, listen to your Apple Watch, not tell your kids to get the remote, take the stairs, park farther, that sort of thing. Like, that's a non negotiable. You will need to learn balance control. You don't need to track every calorie, but you are going to need to start being aware of the fact that your body only needs this many calories, and that food that you're about to eat has this many. So plan accordingly. These are non negotiables that will never go anywhere. And I wish I could scream it from the mountaintop. So I hope that this was informational for you, informative. There we go. And share this with someone who's on the cusp of maybe taking Ozempic, or is struggling now that they got off of it to figure out what's wrong and or why it's not working. It's not that you're broken. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that this is going to take a lot longer, and it's going to take some serious intention, and you're going to have to find someone who is knowledgeable and who has your best interest in mind to help you get there. And if you're looking for someone like that, hey, I take online clients and in-person clients. But if not, just stick around. I'm going to continue to put information out like this because that's what I do and it's who I am. So thank you for tuning in today. I will see you guys next time on the Breakdown with Bonds. We're in the middle of our 14-day challenge, Fall Back into Fitness. That is going on live right now in the Fierce and Fit for Life Facebook group. You can join in. We still got a little over a week left, and I'm going live in 10 minutes now to do a live HIIT workout with them. Spend the next week or so picking my brain and asking me the very specific questions that you have about health and fitness. And if you're not already in the group, make sure you are, and I will see you next time on the Breakdown with Bonds.